All right, greetings, man. I'm back at it once again. Now, in this video right here, I really want to, I just want to go above and beyond. I really want to go above and beyond. I really want to go above and beyond Black Panther, above and beyond all of it, really, because that's really how I started. Many years ago, I started really just trying to go above and beyond. I started this. I came into this knowledge with basically I was dealing with some information. I saw that there was areas in which that wasn't completely accurate in so many words. And really, I took upon myself to go above and beyond. And that's really what I've always done. And this is what I continue to strive to do, to go above and beyond. You know, so really, it's about going above and beyond Black Panther. What I've produced here, I've gone really, just look at the thickness of it. I've gone really above and beyond. And I really want to explain why that is. It's because, again, Black Panther, that was produced by European, right? That was created by Europeans, why European American, but Americans obviously, but white people, right? That's the origin of that story and that concept. Obviously, we know where that really stems from, but that's the authors of that. And obviously the movie, Ryan Coogler obviously written and directed, and then so on and so forth. But then obviously the music now, and that's also what I also wanted to deal with as well for myself, is that again, this is the first time in history now that we've had a man now to be the author of the work, to then go on to do the music and go to follow me on Instagram. You've already heard a sample, a piece of the music that I'm getting ready to release. To go on and do the music and then do the movie. We've never had that before as one man. We've never had that in history. And I really want to take it. I really want to go forth and I really want to do that. I really want to move forward with that. But really I want to show you how we're going above and beyond. And what I produce here really goes above and beyond. Because for years, people said, watching all the debates for many years, and people said it was ego. It was ego. It was ego that these people, put God in their names. This was ego. It was ego. This is what they've said for years, right? They put God in their name, right? But we've already spoke about how that's what one of the books that you need to read. I recommended this years ago, but was the Corpus Hermeticum. The Corpus Hermeticum changed my life because the Corpus Hermeticum really states that there are three gods: God, the Son, and man. Man is God, right? But the difference between man and God. What is the difference between man and God? What is the difference? You also say, the difference between man and God. God can do this. God can create. God can blah blah blah. God has the power, but then man also has power. Man has the power through the atoms and energy in atoms. Man has the power on this. Man can bring forth the power of the sun on earth. Man can create that power. Well, not create energy, but man can deal with it. So that's out the window. So what is the difference then? The Corpus Hermeticum teaches us that man has the miniature mind of God. And through his miniature mind of God, he understands the great big mind of God, but man is God. So what is the difference then between man and God? What is the main difference? And the main difference is, and it always was, mortality. Mortality was the difference. That is the only difference between man and God. Mortality. So what happens when? What happens then when man goes beyond mortality? What happens then? What is that then? And again, this is really what I've done. I'm the first man really in over how many thousands of years to finally bring the formula to the table. I'm the first man to do it. To bring the formula to the table. Because what is the difference between man and God? But mortality. So what happens when you go beyond that? What is that then? What happens when, if a God came to earth, right? We've seen it in the movies, these beings coming to earth, and we've seen it in the movies. What is a man to that? His body is nothing. You know what I mean? He just throws his body around, and his body is nothing. He throws it around. He punches him, and he goes a million meters in seconds, and his body is nothing. His body just disintegrates him. The laser, his body is nothing. Man to a God, a man's body is nothing. So what happens when your body is nothing? What happens when your body, you simply like fresh fruit, a new vessel. What happens when, like fresh fruit, a new vessel is picked like fresh fruit at the king's request? I'm just quoting verbatim from this piece right here. What happens when, what is that? What is that? So again, for years, it was ego. God in their name. It was, you go to certain places. One interesting place you go to, Abu Simbel. You go to Abu Simbel, you go through. I've never been, obviously, I've never been. You know what I mean? And one of the reasons why, obviously, I will eventually go, but one of the reasons why I've never been as well is because that is me. You know what I mean? Everyone else tours because they are touring that, but I am. It's like touring my own house. It's that kind of thing. Touring. If I've built a house, I'm touring our own house. It's like, well, to me, it's nothing. It's everything, but it's nothing at the same time because that is in me, right? That is in me. So I am that. So I don't necessarily need to, but I will eventually do it. But anyway, when you go to Abu Simbel, you go right down to the back in the inner sanctum. You have 3 deities, and you have Ramesses sitting next to the deities. Like he essentially sits next to the gods. Well, how can that be? How can that be? How can he sit next to gods? How can he eat at the same table as gods? How is man God? And again, we've spoke about the difference between man and God is mortality. So, in essence then, if man goes beyond mortality, man essentially tastes the fruit of the gods. So man then could sit next to God. See, that's really the great mystery of it all. They're telling us, and they've been telling us for years what it was all about. But somebody came along and turned and twisted that. And rather than say, well, this is what it was all about, they gave you something else, some resurrection, some afterlife. They gave you some garbage. Now, we're not saying those elements weren't real. And we've addressed all those elements, right? But we're not saying those elements weren't real. But what we're saying is, for years they've told us, but somebody came along and twisted it. And none of the stuff that these people have been saying for years is canon. Even the black scholars. Apart from Bobby, but even the blacks, I'm panicked, but even the black scholars. Some of the stuff, they were just dealing with the European knowledge, and that stuff wasn't canon. None of that stuff was canon as far as what they actually said they were doing. And they've been telling us for years what it was all about. For him to sit next to them, and so someone to envision it and encapsulate it and go out and make that structure, they had to have done it. But it was ego. To think that someone's ego could be so outlandish that they would build that, but then still have a successful civilization and not fall. The pride comes before the fall. To be so prideful, but yet still have a civilization at the same time. For someone to think so highly of that they sit next to the gods and still have a civilization and not think that they actually did it. And for the first time in history, a man has come along and given you the blueprint of how possibly it was done. But again, it was ego. Nobody wants to address. Nobody wants to stomach reality. Nobody wants to stomach the possibility of them actually doing it. But instead, the cushion, the pillow of comfort that people use. Oh, the afterlife, resurrection. That's what the people use as a pillow to comfort them from reality, to shield them from reality of the possibilities that it was actually done. And it wasn't ego at all. They really done it. And again, that's really the time we're living in. So really, I'm closing out the year with that as the first man to give the world the blueprint. The first man to give the world the blueprint, and I'm going to go on to be the first man to do all 3, the movie, the music, all of that. To be the first man to give the world the blueprint. I've done it. Whether people can see it now or 100 years from now, or even 1,000 years from now. Like I said, I'm not going to do like I've usually done with the this and look at this image here and this and look at this. No, that's done. We're done with that now. You know what I mean? You know, people should be researching on them on their own. And yeah, I understand that my level of research is on a different level because of the questions I like to ask. So I look into certain things, but I understand reality. You know, but at the end of the day, I've done it. I've done it. Finally gave the world a blueprint for the first time in history. Since, obviously, many years ago, thousands of years ago, I've finally given the world the first ever blueprint of what it was all about. So yeah, man, that's a quick one right here. I don't want to make this really too long. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you took information. All right, people. Thanks for watching.